All right, so I think we can start. If someone else will join, they'll just have to get back to the recording to hear the early parts. Okay, so again, good morning. My name is Paweł Staniec. I'm chief architect at Storware, and today, together with my colleague Patrick Bobak, we wanted to show you and tell you a little bit about KODO for Cloud, which is our solution for backing up cloud services. Currently, the supported cloud services are Office 365 and Box. Let's just start. Maybe at the very beginning, I will give you a brief introduction on where that concept came from. And maybe some of you are familiar with our offering of KODO. For a long time, KODO was a product focused on end-to-end company protection, taking into account both devices, shares, mobile devices, and services. But we found that this product is a bit too complex to actually cover or meet the market expectations. So what we did is we split the products into modules that are easily understandable and easily deployable, and can actually, in a flexible way, cover companies' needs to provide backup and data protection for their assets. So this is how KODO for Cloud was born, and its sibling KODO for Endpoints. So now these two are separate entities. Today we are going to focus on Office 365 and how it's backed up with KODO. So let's get started. All right, Office 365 market opportunity. As I'm a technical person, I'm not big fan of these numbers, but definitely that's an important thing to say. The overall adoption of Office 365 is overwhelming. It was 155 million in October 2018, so the growth is astonishing. But while the cloud is a very flexible solution for companies, we cannot forget about the fact that the data needs to be protected, no matter where it is located, whether it is our server room on our physical hardware or it is outside of our premises in cloud, because different things might happen. Now, why should you protect your Office 365 data? Well, first of all, there are human mistakes, both accidental and malicious. So there are people who accidentally remove their data and we're looking to restore them. And while it's not that hard to restore a file from a hard drive, it's becoming a problem if you delete all of your emails or a whole catalog, or it's just disappeared and you don't know where it is. So this is where KODO for Cloud will help you. We of course have attacks on companies by malware or ransomware. In these cases, KODO can also provide you a way to restore your data that's been encrypted or lost. And now the another thing is that cloud isn't given for a lifetime, right? You have to keep paying for this, and you have to be sure that you are paying the license. While all of the companies provide you a heads-up information when where certain data is going to expire and it's going to be removed, wiped out for forever. Sometimes that information might be missed, and if you will not make sure that the data is protected on a solution that you control, you cannot have the full certainty that you can always recover what you want. Now, finally, there are cloud infrastructure outages that are happening, and even if they are not resulting in data loss, they definitely cause a situation where you lose access to certain data for a certain amount of time. It could be a couple of minutes, it could be a couple of hours. In a worst case, I think one of the biggest outages was it took more than 1 day, and certain companies without access to their Office 365 files, their emails, cannot actually run their businesses. So it is important to, in the worst case scenario, get access to that data. And even if that's going to be accessed temporarily through a website, it's always a lot better than not having that access at all. So this is really important. Now, we are offering a solution for these problems with KODO for Cloud. It has a easy UI. We made sure that it is focused on the thing, on backing up cloud services and only that. So a lot of options that were visible in the previous versions are gone. Now it's clean, minimum options, easy to understand, and just a couple of quick steps to get it installed and configured. It allows fast processing, which I'll explain a bit later, but we've modified the architecture in a way that it is easy to scale certain elements of this. So if you need to scale to hundreds or thousands of accounts, it is doable with our architecture. Now we have a great scalability based on a strong IBM's engine, and this is where we are talking about IBM Spectrum Protect, which was previously called Tivoli Storage Manager. So this mechanism gives us a couple of features kind of for free. So data is encrypted, deduplicated, both in transfer and at rest, and it is compressed during transfer. So we are getting good results in big amounts of data, while maintaining really efficient storage strategy. Now it is very flexible licensing. It has very flexible licensing and offering model, and this is based on per user licenses. So it should be as simple as possible to get started and protecting your data. Now, if we'll go down a bit to technical details, it has instant restore to local PC or to Office 365 Cloud. So if you want to restore certain data, you can download it to your PC, or you can restore it back to Office 365 Cloud. So if user deletes their emails or files from the administration console, the backup operator can actually find those files and restore them in place. So they will be visible immediately in Office 365. No need to pull them to a desktop and then import them again. So I think that's pretty nice. Although the other option is of course also possible if it's required. All the operations can be controlled by a RESTful API. So we are using KODO interface uses the same REST API that our customers can use. So if you would like to automate the whole process with your service desk solution, ticketing software, or any other software, now like CM engines or whatever else, you're more than welcome to do that with the RESTful API. You can trigger backups, you can retrieve information about backups, you can get information about certain files, or you can run automatic restoration if a user can provide the location of a file or certain options. So this could be automated, making administrator life really easy. Currently, we are supporting Exchange Online mailboxes, calendars, contacts, and files on OneDrive. We are working to make SharePoint and Teams available as well. This is planned for third quarter this year. So in third quarter, we will have pretty much full coverage for Office 365 files and data. Now, what are the key advantages if we are talking about the infrastructure? With this version, we have simplified the deployment using Docker. So these components that are used for creating KODO cluster are all Dockerized, so you can deploy them pretty much everywhere. So whether you want to run it on-prem or you want to run it in cloud, you can do that with Docker. That allows you to easily scale the solution for maximum efficiency. So if you need multiple APIs, multiple API instances, you can do that. If you need multiple agents to speed up the backing up process, you can do that. That totally depends on the needs and types of files and the amounts of accounts that are going to be backed up. Now we've got a step-by-step documentation, quick start guides, so the whole process shouldn't take more than 15 to 20 minutes, but in most cases it's even faster than that. Now, we allow for backup and restore, which is not really surprising for backup software, but I think we've spent a lot of time to make the process as easy as possible. So you can easily protect your Office 365 key resources. You can restore the data to a local PC or to cloud, and the data is redacted. The size of it is reduced by using the duplication and compression provided by Spectrum Protect. Now, from management point of view, depending on what type of administrator UI, because KODO supports multi-tenancy model, which I'll cover in a moment. But we've got an easy, intuitive administration panel. We are allowing to set up different protection policies, and we are working to have a global search provided for the administrator depending on the policy settings, as we are careful about data protection and sensitive data that will be protected from KODO. Now, the whole architecture consists of four pillars, or four components. So the agent is pretty much a data mover from cloud or from cloud services to our backend. We've got KODO Core, that's the backend itself, that's focused on data processing and contact with Spectrum Protect to store the data securely. Now we've got an administrative UI, which allows both instance administrators and organization administrators to configure settings, and is a central management point. And finally, the Spectrum Protect, that's our storage engine that delivers the backup and the data protection. Now let's move on. So that's the architecture, and something that I've been talking about. So the backup agents are contacting Office 365 and box services. We can have multiple backup agents, and we can scale it according to our needs to get a proper throughput of the system. We've got RabbitMQ that's helping us to keep things loosely coupled and have asynchronous processing of the data we are getting from cloud with the model where server is pulling that data from RabbitMQ at its own pace to guarantee that no other services or processes of data protection will be disrupted, especially for dozens of agents running simultaneously. Finally, KODO is using its own database where metadata is stored And finally, we've got IBM Spectrum Protect to store the data. Now, deployment is something. It's a pure joy especially for those who like modern deployment techniques based on Docker and containers. So we are storing those images in a registry, so customers would get an access to the registry of containers and will be able to deploy them anywhere they would like to, and they can either use Docker Compose configuration that we provide, or they could use Kubernetes, OpenShift, or any other solution, any other orchestrator that they are familiar with or comfortable with. Definitely, we could help them out. However, what we provide out of the box is a Docker Compose configuration file that sets up the stack with all the required components in place. So that's definitely the easiest way to set it up. Now, in terms of support for or usage of Spectrum Protect, we've got a very easy configuration. So one node in Spectrum Protect represents all tenants. We provide support for SSL connection. And we are using container-based and cloud pools to provide better protection along with the replication. So in terms of a supported version, we provide support for Spectrum Protect 7.1 and newer for the API level integration. Now, finally, we are getting to the multi-tenancy model. So depending on your needs and what do you want to do with this, we either support the single tenant or multi-tenancy mode. Tenants are represented by organizations in our structure. Each organization represents, I don't know, maybe a company, or if you're a large company, that could be a department that could have different administrators, different policies, data protection policies. So especially for large organizations, that could be interesting, that marketing or development could have totally different policies from I don't know, information security departments or management board. So we definitely provide that functionality for service integrators. That could be used to offer KODO to their customers. That step of setting up the organization could be fully automated. Then administrator from a given company gets access and is able to configure protection for his employees, while the operator, or the KODO admin, as we call it, the instance administrator, still has a full control over instance aspect of KODO. So he controls the number of agents, gets information about TSM backend, how many data is stored there, how many data is left, and so on. So he guarantees quality of service for the customers. Now, for the licensing model, we've got a perpetual license with 12 months of support. A license is per user or per mailbox, or that's pretty much exchangeable. Now, depending on the need or interest, we are flexible in terms of payments. So either monthly, quarterly, yearly payment is. So this is, I think this is pretty flexible. And of course, pay-as-you-grow model for service provider is something we offer as a standard. Now, for support models, we have 3 models, but for the details, I would have to encourage you to go to our website. But basically, we've got 3 support models based on different SLAs. So with the lowest one is 8 hours reaction, 5 days a week. The highest one is 24/7. So I think that customers can find a good fit for them. And this is pretty much it in terms of the talking and the boring part. Now I'll pass the voice to Patrick, who will guide you through real hands-on on our lab environment. So you will see how easy it is to configure and protect the data. And finally, after that session, I think we could go and have a Q&A session if you guys would like us to explain some topics a little bit more. So thank you very much, and I'll pass the voice to Patrick.
Hello guys, I'm Patrick Bobak. I'm a professional services architect in Storware. So my main job is to deploy KODO and make it work. So if you will want to test it, I will be the contact. I will help you to deploy it, to install it, to configure it, and run protection of your environment. In a few seconds, I will start to share my screen. I will show you the administrative panel. I will show you how to configure KODO, how to start to protect our data. What steps are we need? So we take the point of view of the administrator that want to protect the data, have a fresh, clean installation of KODO. Okay, so let's do it. I'm gonna share my screen, my web browser. Okay. So this is the first thing we see after we launch our administrative panel. We need to log in to our organization because, like Paweł said, we can on the one KODO server instance we can have many organizations, and these organizations are separated. They don't know about each other. We have separated data, separate policies, separate users. So now I'm logged as administrator of the organization. The first thing we see, it's a dashboard with information about our system, what is running, who is protected, who is not protected. Like you see in this lab environment, we have 5 users and 4 users are fully protected, and we have 1 user that is not protected, or some feature is not was not backed up. How to check it, I will show you in a minute. Let's say this is a clean environment and we want to add access to our organization. What we need to do, the first step is we need to go to a settings, to a configuration tab, click add configuration button, and we need provide some informations about our office organization, about how to generate this data. We need a private certificate, we need a tenant ID, and the tenant ID, it's like an address of our organization in the Microsoft. We need a client ID, we need a client secret, and we need a certificate password. Certificate is used to connect to AWS to manage exchange data. And to generate this data, we are providing a PowerShell script that will ask you to sign in your Microsoft organization. So you need to provide administrative email address, administrative password, and this script will automatically install KODO for Cloud application, generate certificate, and install the certificate inside your organization, and it will generate the tenant ID, client secret, and certificate, and you need to copy and paste that data into our service configuration. We don't keep any administrative password in our database. We don't want to know it. So KODO is using the application that is installed inside your Office organization to get access to user, to get access to data, and certificate to connect to AWS Exchange Web Services to download information about mailboxes and messages itself. So after we add our configuration, this configuration is automatically verified, so we can be sure that all the data that were provided are okay, and the KODO is able the agent is able to connect to organization and download the data. So this is the first step. Second step, it will be to configure data policy. We need to tell KODO how long the data should stay on in the backup. So we can configure retention based on date, based on days. We can configure how many versions of data, for example, files from OneDrive we want to keep if the file is changed in the time. We can configure some quota per user, so we can be sure that this, if we have some user that store a lot of data in the OneDrive, he will not eat up all the place in our backup. And if somebody knows the Spectrum Protect, we have some include and exclude paths. So we can say that we want to protect only this or this path in the OneDrive, or we want to exclude or include some extension. For example, we don't want to protect some JPEGs, and we don't want to protect ISO files. We can just simply put the name of the extension here, and all the files with this extension will be excluded from the backup. So we are step 1, configuring access to Office tenant. Step 2, configure data policy. And step 3 is to synchronize users. To do this, we have a simple button, synchronize, and this will generate the task that will be performed by the agent. Agent just simply connect to our Office organization, download the information about all the users, and put them in the KODO. And from here, we can create a job, and job is like a scheduler in our system. So we are creating job where we are defining what should be protected, who should be protected, and when. So let's do this. We have a configuration, we have a retention, we have our users, so we can configure scheduler to protect them all. It's also very simple. We have 5 steps. Step 1, put the name of the schedule. Let's call it demo. Let's add some description. Let's click next. Have some chat window here, and I'm not able to click next. Just give me a second. I will try to do this like this. Okay, so we have step 2 in creating a job, selecting the features that should be related to this job. We want to protect everything. So we want to protect OneDrive, Exchange mailboxes, contacts, and calendars, and of course in the future also SharePoint. Next, we are selecting users that should be protected with this job. And here we can do this on 2 ways. The first way is we simply select the users, and only selected users will be protected in the schedule. But also we have option that is called auto select users, and it will tell our job that every time the job is starting, it should check the user list and add all available users to this job. So even if we will synchronize some new users after the job is created, this user still will be protected by this job. Okay, so we have features, we have users. Now we can select when the backup should start and when it should occur. Okay, we don't want to chat. We want to go next. Okay. Okay, here we go. So selecting when first backup should start and when the backup should occur in the time. So let's say we want to start our first backup in 7 minutes, And we want to do our backup from Monday till Friday. And let's select proper time zone. So it will really start in a 7 minutes. So this option is very useful for some service providers. It doesn't matter in which time zone the server is, the user, the administrator can always select proper time zone for him, and the date and time will be properly translated, so the backup will always occur with correct time zone. Okay, let's click next. We have summary, we have some information about our job, about the name, about descriptions, features that are added to this job, and we have information when the schedule will start and when the schedule will be automatically started. Okay, so let's click save. The job is created. Of course, we can start this job manually. We can check the execution history. We can edit it if we have that need, and also we can delete it and create a new one. But creating a job, it's not only way to start a backup. We can also do this manually. It's also very simple. We simply select the user we want to protect, click the backup option. We can select which feature we want to protect, but also when we are starting the backup manually, we have some advanced option for every feature. And this advanced option is to force a full backup, because generally every backup is incremental. So of course, the first backup is full, every next backup in the chain is incremental. But if we want to force a full backup, so download all data once again, we can also do this manually. Okay, so let's maybe start a incremental backup of my mailbox. And also, like you see on the user list, we have some information about who is protected and who is not. We have icon that shows features. We have an icon for a calendar feature. We have a contact, a mailbox, and OneDrive. Like you see, almost every of these user was backed up today. Only my OneDrive was never protected. That's why it has not protected status. And we also have a status that we can call warning, and user change protection status to warning when backup of features that are related to him, the backup was not performed in the last 24 hours. So if, for example, my user will not protect mailbox, tomorrow there will be no scheduler run, there will be no job run tomorrow, it will change status from protected to a warning, and we'll have a yellow icon of the envelope here. And when we are starting a backup, let's start maybe backup for 4 features, because I would like you to show the tasks that are generated by the system. So every feature backup generate a task. So now we have 4 tasks in the queue that are waiting to be executed. We have a task to backup a calendar, task to backup contacts, mailbox, and OneDrive. And if we will switch to running, we'll see that some of this task was already taken by the agent and is proceed. So the agent is connecting to Office Cloud, downloading the data and put them in the KODO. So the number of the tasks that will run in the same time, it's dependent how many agents we are running in our environment. In this environment, we have, if I remember correctly, we have around 6 agents, but like you see, we have 2 tasks running in the same time. So that means that 4 other agents are protecting, are executing tasks in some other organization. So we have 2 free agents and they are performing tasks right now. So if we will jump to a dashboard, we see that we have a 1 job that is running. We see the information about this task, and if my OneDrive protection will end successfully, we'll have a full green cycle. Okay, so like you see, protecting data, choosing what should be protected, creating a job is very easy. You just need few clicks to start to protect everything from the scratch. But protecting data is a one thing, but restoring data is also very, very important. So how to restore data, how to browse data that we already back it up. It's also very easy, just simple click on the user of your choice. Let's choose my user, and we see all the Office features that are enabled for this feature and that are protected. So I have a OneDrive, I have a mailbox, I have a contact, and I have a calendar. I can simply click and browse the folders that are inside my mailbox, and the name of the folder is depending on the local settings of the Office 365. So in my case, you see a Polish names of the folders. So let's click on inbox. Oh, mailbox is still empty because probably, yeah, the task is still executed. So it created, it protected the folders, but there is no messages yet. So maybe let's choose some other user. We have a mailbox, we have a send items, maybe not send items, but inbox. Yeah, we have some mails here. So like Paweł said, we can restore the data in 2 ways. We can restore them to our local PC, or we can restore them directly to cloud. Restoring to local PC, just simple click on the mail. We will have information that we are about to gain access to user data, and are we sure? In this case, yes, we are. So let's click yes, and we can download this email as EML file. Of course, downloading separate emails, it's not always a good solution. So we probably would like to download a few mails from this user. Just select the messages you would like to download, you would like to restore, click download. Again, yes, we want to gain access to user data, and these files will be zipped in one archive, and this archive will be available for us to be downloaded. And it's work exactly the same for a OneDrive, for a contacts, for a calendar. So if I will click on a OneDrive, I can simply click on the file and download it, or I can choose few files and download them as zip archive. And if you would like, if we want to restore data directly to Office 365 tenant, we are doing this very similar. So let's go to inbox. Here it is. We simply select the messages we would like to restore, and then instead of clicking download, we click restore button. We can restore deleted files. We can overwrite existing files. We can select some custom path if we would like to restore data, for example, to some other path than original in the case of OneDrive, or we can restore the data to other mailboxes in our Office organization. And if I will click our restore button, it will once again generate task that we can see in our queue. So we have a new task. Sorry, this is a OneDrive backup that was scheduled. This task probably it's already ended because all the files that exist in this user OneDrive, in the OneDrive of this user are still there. So in reality, these are exactly the same files. So there is nothing to restore. But the process of restoring data legacy or protecting data legacy is very easy. Okay, so we have so what we need to do after we get our organization: few steps: create configuration, configure data policy, synchronize user, create a job or do backup manually. It's up to you. And it just works. So after the job is done, you can browse the user, you can browse the data, you can restore them, you can you have full access to it. So we focused on easy and intuitive UI with minimal options, just to be a simple tool that you don't have to read the full documentation to just know how to use it. It should be very easy to use, even for someone that is new with this product. Okay, guys, maybe we can do some questions and answer session. Do you have any questions at all? Do you like what you see? It's fulfilling your expectation. We love to have some feedback from customers or from partners, so we can make a better product. So every opinion is important for us.
Hi, Patrick. Magnus here. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Magnus. Hi, Magnus. We can hear you.
Thank you for a nice presentation. I think that it was wonderful. I also think that the request and the request from the market is growing more and more for Office 365 protection. I was just wondering, when do you think SharePoint Online will be included?
Right. So as I said on the very beginning, we are already working on this. There are a couple of things that are a challenge, but we should be ready with SharePoint early third quarter. So it's developers are already working on this. So we have some initial stuff in place, but it's not ready yet. So early third quarter, this will be released to public.
Awesome. Great. Perfect. Yeah, that was my question.
Perfect. Anyone else?
Hello, Håkan Ekdal here. I have a question. I saw in one of the first slides there was a picture of Box being protected also. Is that correct? The box.com?
Yes, Box is supported. It's covered. However, it is not a part of this UI. It's not a part of this session. If you would like to see a presentation dedicated to Box, we can certainly set it up. It's not a part of the modernized UI yet. So that's while the infrastructure is exactly the same, it is not the part of that UI yet. It's part of a previous UI, previous solution that still allows the same thing, but it looks it's slightly different. So if you're interested in that, we'll be happy to take a contact from you after this call, or feel free to email us, and we'll set up a session for you exclusively to cover this.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Okay, guys, so if there are no more questions, I think we could close the session. Remember, if you'll visit our website, www.storware.eu, and you'll go to products, there is a trial form there. So it's an automated process. One of the ones that I said you could actually set it up yourself with the REST API, but we did that on our website. So you could request an organization and you could play with this yourself with the tenant on our demo environment. So highly encouraged for you to try it out, see for yourself. And also feel free to set up a quick session with Patrick. If you register a trial, you'll get an email that will give you a link on where to book a session with Patrick if you need any help or any additional follow-up. And of course, you can reach us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I don't know. I mean, we're pretty much everywhere. So just type in Storware in whatever search box you'll find. Probably there's going to be something there. Well, in many cases, Paweł Mączka will appear first, but maybe you will find a little bit info about KODO as well. So thank you very much, guys, and have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, bye.